All right, I'm back here and I'm on the floor now, back out in the hallway again. Got a lot going on in my shop and things moving. We're getting ready for the Texas Pinball Festival, finishing up the clock, getting ready to go, and we have made some major progress since the last video that was up. Last time we saw it, it was just working. It was getting the first hour working. Well, and I talked about some of the things I wanted to do. Well, since then, I've just been running, getting stuff done. I really hadn't had a chance to make a video. So this is going to be kind of the final phase, show you how everything's put together. And then we'll talk a little bit at the end about what all goes with it. So I'm just sitting here in our little hallway here by the, oh, that looks the other way. There we go. Down that way. And the clock's sitting here in front of me. So anyway, I'm going to show you this thing and show you all the stuff we added to it. So yeah, here we go. Well, there you go. The clock looking a lot better now. I put this paper around it. I've got a bracket up there holding the paper on. I put this mask around it to where it really made it to where you saw it, you know it's a clock. And yeah, the two dots in the middle are a bit overstated, but there you go. Here's the little motor I put in, and you can see the cam. That looks terrible, but it works. It was a motor. So the motor that I had was way too slow. I went to Ace Electronics here in Houston, Texas, and was looking for some other pieces and said, I wonder if y'all have any AC motors. And sure enough, they had a 1 round per minute, 24 volt AC motor, and that's what I got. So it's actually, I believe it's geared to come down to 1 per minute. And yesterday I was running this clock and ran it for about 30 minutes, and it was like right on time, spot on. So it's going pretty well. So since the last time we discussed, a lot of the wires have been tied up and cleaned up a little bit. I added the stepper unit here, and we'll go over that for setting the time. I added the alternator over here in order for, it's actually a match unit out of a game. And the two lights that you see here, this one and this one, will be the AM and PM lights. I don't have that lit through the paper just yet because I just kind of running out of time here. I've added a couple of relays in here. I've tied, so, and I add switches over here, which is out of a more modern pinball machine, but they're just 3 basic switches in order to activate the stepper unit to set the time. So let's go and let me show you how this thing works. Well, I tell you what, since I hadn't shown it to you before, let's go ahead and, well, let's just turn it on. All right, so turn it on. We're just going to pull this bad boy out. The light comes on. Look at that. Isn't that nice and pretty? And we see the switch. Now, the switch, I changed from 2 switches over to a single make break. So it's going to make the connection. You hear the click for the timer. Then it's going to let it go, and it clicks. So every minute, that thing's going to turn. The little cam is going to hit the switch. I'm using a single make break switch, which was much better, easier to do than the having the 2 switches that I talked about earlier. As I worked on this thing, it got more and more refined as we went through. So now it's just happily, merrily going along, working its business. The bell is there. We had the bell working last time, but so let's go through what I didn't show you last time, and that is the actual setting of the clock. So let's set the clock up since the timer's almost coming around again. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it off, and we're going to come down here to this adjustment jack. I'm going to unplug it out of the run position and plug it into the set position. And now it's running on a whole nother set of grounds, which basically disables the motor, which is fine. We don't want it to run. So we're going to turn it back on again. We have our lights so we can see it. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, these buttons here, this button resets that stepper unit. This button pulses through the stepper unit to whatever dial is pointing at. And this button here will increase the stepper unit by 1. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to we set the clock from the minute hand going that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit this button, which resets the stepper unit. Boom, all the way back to the beginning. Okay. Then I'm going to use the red button to set the time, the minute. We're going to run it up to about 8. Well, look, let me show you. This is why we set from left to right, because if you're there and you want to go to 2 and you pass that up, oh, it moves it, right? So we want to make sure that so now we're at 8. That way you don't mess up the set as you try to go along. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit this button, which advances the stepper unit 1 time. See it move once? And now, again, using the red button, I'm going to set this to 50. So now we're at 58. Then we're going to hit this again. That moved the stepper unit. We're going to move to 9. Okay? And then we're going to go back, bump it 1 more time, which moves the stepper unit. We're going to set that one to 10. 20. Oops. There we go, 10 o'clock. All right. Now, the next thing is we're going to hit it 1 more time, which is going to make the stepper jump 1 more time. Now, when I change it, the AM and PM alternator doesn't flicks right. Doesn't work, because, well, sometimes it does. That alternator, those match units, they get used a lot. So sometimes they're a little bit of a challenge. So now we're able to set everything from the time to the AM and PM. So now we set it to where the way to set this clock is we'll set it to the next minute that's going to happen, right? Then we turn it off. We move it to the run position, and then we wait for the time. And when the time changes on some other clock that shows us, okay, it is now 10:58, then we kick this back on and the motor starts running. And we want to do it, so here we go. It's going to run past. That's going to run up. Hits it. And comes down, touches, boom, there it goes. Now, this thing's been doing very, very well. Like I said, it was timing out really well. The only change that I need to make, I've got everything kind of wired in here. The only other change that I need to make is that this transformer is putting out like 29 volts. It's supposed to be like 26, but it's actually kicking out about 29, and which is more than I need, which makes the little motor run hot. And so the only other thing we're going to do is we're going to put a variac on it that is obviously not EM style, but it's I need to adjust that thing down, the voltage down, in order for that motor, so I don't want my motor to get hot and burned up. Well, here we go, folks. This is what's going to happen. So here we go. One more couple of seconds. There goes the timer relay. And there it is. It's 11 o'clock. So isn't that cool? So everything is working on the clock. Everything's doing what it's supposed to do. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to change the time, and we're going to watch it go through the first hour. So